Hello friends, this is Umapathi. Welcome to my channel. So in this Packer tutorial, we are going to learn how to set up our environment for creating the images on Azure and AWS Cloud. So let's get started. So this video is all about setting up our environment. So we will be we'll discuss about the learning objective of this video. One is we will be discussing about this Azure Service Principal, and we will be creating the Service Principal using the Azure Portal and Azure PowerShell and Azure CLI tools. So we'll be again discussing about the AWS IAM, and we'll be creating IAM user with the access and the secret keys, which is we call it as a programmatic keys. So what is Azure Service Principal? So Azure Service Principal basically sends security identity. So we used to create this identity for accessing, providing the access for the applications to manage the Azure resources, and it can be hosted services or for automation, doing any automation for the Azure resources. We use the Service Principal. So basically, we this is kind of identity, so we can restrict the access for this identity using the role-based access control. So once you create the Service Principal, we can assign the roles whichever is required for us. So you can create a contributor and reader role using the role-based access control. And this is strongly recommended that the Azure Service Principals are mainly used for automation purpose. So if you are automating anything like creation of infrastructure using the Terraform, or creating a Packer images, or creating using any SDKs to access Azure Ready. So for those automated purpose, we use this Azure Service Principal. So let's get started. So we'll learn how to create the Service Principal using the Azure Portal. So let me log on to my Azure Portal. I have already logged on. So this is my Azure Portal. I'm on the, let me go to dashboard. So first thing, you will get the dashboard like this. So search for on left panel, you can able to see all the services. So on type global search, search for the Azure AD, Azure Active Directory. It will pop up the service. Click on Azure Active Directory. So here on left panel, you will see the app registrations. So on left panel, see, so I already have a Service Principal which I will be using for the Terraform. So I'm just clicking on all applications. Only I have Terraform, which is a Service Principal created for the Terraform. So on top, you have to click on the new registration. So here, give the registration. So I will give the learn Packer. So I'm using the default settings. I don't want to change anything. So just register now. So it will be creating the app registration for us. So here, if you see, we are already on the learner pack registration. So you can create this secret on the left side plane, where you can see the certificates and the secrets. So in enterprise level customers, they normally use the certificate and password for the security reasons. So if you have any certificate, you can import the certificate. So this is two types of authentication process we use for this Service Principal. So for now, we are creating only with secret. So click on the new client secret. I'll give the learning Packer. So I want this Service Principal password only for 3 months. So you can make it custom, or you can make it up 24, whatever is required for you. So if you are using any application and integrate putting this Service Principal and using the application, then based on your requirement, change it for 1 year or 2 years. So I'm adding the secret. So it will display the secret value and secret ID. So this is a one-time display. Once you copy this word, so this will display the all value. So once we go out of this blade, we won't be able to again find this secret. So make sure that this secret is saved carefully, and just we go back to the directory. So next thing, we have created the Service Principal and we have created the secret. Let's provide the access to this Service Principal. So now we have to go for this subscription. So just click on the subscription. Here, whichever the subscription you have created, you can use that one. For that particular subscription, you can provide access. So on left side panel, you click on the access control. There you will find the IAM. So you can check for the access if you want to check. Let me go out. I can check what access I have for my newly created service principal. So I can see there is no access already created. So let me create a new role assignment. So here you can select the whichever role you want. We have default roles which are available. So based on your requirement, you can choose anything. So for now, for this tutorial, I'm using the contributor role, and I have to search again for my service principal name. So it will pop up. Click the Learn Packer and save it. So this has been provided the access. If I click again, so we have the contributor access. So you can use this service principal to log on to Azure Portal. So this is one way, and let me log on to. Let me go back to the slides. So we have done with the Azure Portal. Well, let's see how to create the service principal using the PowerShell, Azure PowerShell. So I have created already some commandlets. It's a predefined script. So before accessing the Azure console portal, we have to log on to Azure subscription using the connect. So this will be using all APIs to connect to the Azure portal, AzureCLI, and it will create the Azure service principal for us. So to run this PowerShell command list, I need to install the Azure PowerShell modules. So I have already installed it. So then only I will get these AZ commands. These are the verbs and these AZ commands. So first command is we have to connect to the Azure subscription. Let me run this one. So it will pop up the window. I'm using my same account whichever I have logged in. Now I'm able to control this complete Azure account using the PowerShell, the API calls. So these are the command lists which I will be using. So I have given the variable name as a service principal name. So I have given the learn Azure PowerShell as my service principal name. And this is a command which the new is used for the creating always new resources or any new objects. So AZ and AZ Active Directory Service Principal. This is a commandlet which will be used to create the service principal. I'm just creating this one. I'm running this command and it will run for a while and it will provide us the service principal. Now the service principal has been created. Let me check it out, the properties of that service principal. So these are the application ID, and so I will display the service principal properties. So these are the properties available there. So we have some command lists which we need to run to get our secret. So these are commands already available on Azure documentation. So this is my past secret which I have to save it properly. So I have saved it. So now let me get what is the role assigned to this service principal. So when I run this get AZ role assignment by using providing the service principal ID, so I will get the role definition name which is assigned to that particular service principal. So here I can see the contributor role. So I want to provide the reader role only for this particular service principal. So I can run this command to assign a new service role to service principal. So it already exists. So I have already run this one. So let me remove this. Okay, this is fine. So let me run again. I want to assign new service principal, new role to the service principal as a reader. So this reader role has been assigned. So let me remove the contributor role. Right, it has done. Let me verify on the portal what is access we have. So I can just click on this one. So it will load. It's a contributor role. So we have to go back again. Click on access control role, access control IAM. Search for the learn. So Azure PowerShell. So this is the service principal we have created. So we have the reader role assigned to this service principal. So let me log on to this service principal. Let me run again this command. So it's showing contributor, but we have the reader role assigned to it. So now to log on to Azure Portal service subscription, we need the tenant ID and the secret, application ID, secret, and tenant ID. These are the parameters we have to provide as a parameters for the connect as one Azure account. So tenant ID I'm getting using the AZ contest command, get AZ contest. So secret, so I'm just converting my plain text secret value into the secure string. I'm just getting creating an object for the storing this credentials, and let me connect using the connect-az. So we are successfully able to connect using this newly created service principal. So let's go back to our slides and see. So now we create the new Azure Service Principal using the Azure Client tools. So I'm using the same PowerShell ISC to create the Service Principal using the client tools. So the AZ is a commandlet which we will use for all managing all Azure resources using the Azure Client tools. So this is to connect using the Azure Client tools, we have to run the AZ login. Let me run this one. So I got this browser open. So I'm successfully logged in. Let me close this one. So here I'm logged in using the Umapathi@hotmail.com. So I'm again using the variables to create a service principal. So in PowerShell we have to use the dollar as a variables, dollar and the app name. So normally we do not use this dollar symbol in the Azure Cloud Shell or the CLI tools which we use. So using the AZ is a commandlet, AD is a service principal, create for a role-based access control, name app name which is learn Azure CLI. So I'm running this one. So it will create a service principal using that name. So you can ignore about the warnings. It has created our service principal. So just using CLI we can able to get the password, whereas in PowerShell we can have to use another commands. So just I'm saving these details here itself so that I can use later. Now let me display what is our service principal attributes. So for that we have to use AD service principal SP and list -- display - name service principal. So here it will provide all information about our service principal. So here we can see what are the roles assigned as well. So let me get the application ID. So I'm using this command. So I'm passing this command output into the variable, whereas in Cloud Shell you no need to add the dollar symbol there in front of variable. So this we have to use for the Cloud Shell, and this is for the PowerShell. So I got my subscription. Let me run the subscription ID as well. So these are the commands where you can get the app ID. So AZ AD app list display name. Here you have to provide the service principal name, and based on that output we are querying about querying for getting the app ID. So similarly we are using the show AZ account show query. So now I'm using the app ID as a variable. I'm storing app ID into the variable. So I'm running AZ AD app list display name. This is service principal name, and I'm querying for the application ID. So I'm running this command. So I'm saving the application ID onto the variable. Similarly, I'm using the AZ as account show query to get the subscription ID. For getting the tenant ID, I'm using AZ account show query tenant ID, where I can able to get my tenant ID. This tenant ID subscription ID might change for your account. So please take care of which tenant ID you are working on. So let me check what the role assigned to my service principal. I'm using the AZ role assignment list -- assignee. I'm providing the application ID to get the role assigned to my service principal. So under this output, I can check for the role definition, where the role is contributor role. So if normally for this Packer tutorial, we need only a permission to create the resource group and creating the virtual machine, creating the virtual machine image, creating the AMI and creating this instance. So you can create the least privileges using the role-based access control. So for now, I'm just replacing the contributor role with the reader role. I'm assigning a new role to the same service principal using the assignment role create the assignee. So it has created the role and it has assigned. So now we got both the contributor and reader role assigned to service principal. So I want to remove the contributor role. I'm running the AZ role assignment delete the -- assignee application ID - role, that is contributor role. So now I got only reader role assigned to my service principal. Let me check the role. So this is a role we got, the reader role. So now we are able to change the service principal access using the only reader only access. So let me check it out what is my password so that I can replace it, the ES. So I have already replaced my password. So for log on to any Azure subscription using the service principal, we need the application ID, the application secret, the client secret, and the tenant ID. So I have provided it. Now I'm successfully able to log on to service Azure subscription using the service principal, which is created using the Azure CLI tools. So that's it for the creating the service principal using the 3 modes. Now let's go on to the slides. Now let's create the IAM user using the access and secret keys, which we call it as a programmatic access keys. Let me log on to the my Azure Portal, AWS Portal. Let me click on to so here this is a screen which I will get whenever I log on to this console. So here recently visited services, recently I have visited IAM. So if you have visited any other services, you will get this other services name. So let me check for the IAM service. Click on IAM service. So here on IAM console, click on users, and here create a new role, new user. I will keep it as IA learn AWS. Here we have 2 types of access. One is from management console, and another is from the programmatic access. So from Packer we cannot log on to console, so we use the programmatic access, where we need to provide the access and secret keys to work the Packer. So I'm creating that one. So click next. So I want to add it to the admins for this training purpose. Basically we provide the least privileges for the programmatic access. So for Packer, what are the main access we need is creating the EC2 instance, creating the AMI, and running the logon to server. So based on the permissions, we can provide the least permission to this IAM user. For now, I'm creating the admin role. Based on your requirement and enterprise security levels, you can again fine tune your access. So this is a role and similar page. Just I'm clicking on create a user. So it has created a user and it will provide me the access keys and secret keys. Let me save this one. So here also, once we save this secret keys, make it store in a safe place where once you lost this one means you won't be able to get again. So I'm closing this, and we have created the access keys and secret keys for the AWS account. So we use the same accounts in our Packer tutorial. So these are the different documentations which are available to create a service principal using the PowerShell CLI. So thank you for viewing. If you like my video and if you got useful information on my video, don't forget to like and share this video with your colleagues or the friends, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So to get these videos whenever I upload these videos. If you want to be notified immediately, don't forget to click on the bell icon. So for now, thank you for viewing. We'll catch up again in the next video. Thank you for viewing.